October 16, 2023. And my black people, I want you to hear me. I know there's a lot of people who don't like me, don't care for me. Some who do like me. There's even a few around here who love me. And we're not even family or anything, but it's just, you know what I'm saying? That, there's people around here who they won't allow themselves to be told or directed or be part of a, herd mentality, group mentality, gang mentality, and they think for themselves. And I appreciate those people, whether they black, white, Spanish, Asian, African, whatever, Arab, whatever. I appreciate them all. They know who they are, okay? But now I'm speaking directly to my black people. My black people, y'all know this. Whether you like me or don't like me, it's irrelevant, okay? Our people have been at the bottom in this country forever, since the beginning. Hundreds of years, long enough. Our people were, for hundreds of years, slaves. And we were welcome, and they wanted more and more and more of us here, okay? To use us for our labor, for free. Use us to take care of their children, to work in the fields, work in their homes, in their businesses, as long as it was for free, as slaves. And be brutalized horribly as slaves. And history whitewashed, and our leaders killed, like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, hunted down, like Harriet Tubman, and many more, Medgar Evers, many more, going all the way back to when our people were slaves, and some fought against it, some did not accept it, like on the Amistad, where they took over that slave ship, okay? And then were betrayed, sometimes by their own people, sometimes by those who wanted us to stay slaves. And then there was a battle in this country, and some of the whites rose up and against their own and fought, and we were allowed to fought, our people fought alongside and freed the slaves. Now, I know that's not the only reason for the Civil War. There were economic reasons as well. They didn't want to allow the South to secede because the South brought a lot of money in with all that slave labor for the cotton industry. Cotton was king. See, because the thing is, I study history, my black people. So pay attention, because there's two things. See, I'm like y'all. I'm just like y'all. I came from poor background, no father in my home, raised by a single parent, my mother. There was a lot of problems in my family, and I survived them all, thank God. I barely survived growing up in my family. All the abuse I suffered, sexual abuse, all kinds of things. But I did. I persevered, and you know why? Because there was two things I valued more than anything else. Well, family, yeah, like everybody else, but beside that, my personal values, I value reading, and I value studying behavior patterns in history and in everything. I value reading anything I can get my hands on, from a book to the back of a cereal box to anything. Anything I can get my hands on, because reading is knowledge. So my people, my black people, I come from y'all, but I'm like y'all, but I'm also not like y'all. And I've studied and I know the way forward. We must come together, my people. We must. Otherwise, we will always be at the bottom here. We done been held back by everything, my black people. But I know how a way for us to move forward. I need my black people to have my back. Whether you like me, love me, don't like me, can't stand me. I know that you believe, just like I do, that kids' lives matter. Your kids deserve to be safe. Mine, everybody's kids deserve to be safe from the predators out here. Okay? I said, grown-ups, do what you do, but leave the kids out of it. That's been my message since the beginning, and especially leave my kids out of it. And they didn't leave my kids out of it. And that's why I came to the front and dropped the act and stopped just going along to get along, going with the grain, don't go against the grain, you know what I'm saying? All of that. Forever, I've been standing against the corrupt popo. Y'all know this. Everybody who know me in my hood know I despise corrupt popo. I love and appreciate the cops from September 11th who all did the right thing at the right time, So I'm not against popo, police. I'm against corrupt popo. Let's make that clear. You know what I'm saying? I got nothing but respect for honest police who do their job honestly, or honest firemen and first responders who do their job honestly. But the corrupt ones, my black people, we know we have suffered under them. They are the modern day overseers. And our people have been held back forever, even after slavery was over, with all kind of practices that these foreigners don't know nothing about. They don't know the true history of this country. That's why they got to stay out of this. Because if they are not supporting that black people deserve to be given reparations, because it was never honored. While they turn around and talk about we got obligations to foreigners who didn't do anything here but show up after the civil rights battles that our people and the white folks who participated and everybody else who was here who participated got their heads busted open for. Just look at the pictures back in history. Who do you see fighting the civil rights battles? The blacks, the whites. You see a couple Jews. You may see one or two Hispanics, very few. And that's about it. Huh? There was nobody else here to fight the battle. And the Hispanics who were here was the Puerto Ricans. They mostly stayed out of it. It was the blacks, the whites, and some Jews showed up too. Other than that, who stood against this. All these practices that have held us back after slavery was over. That's why there is a responsibility for reparations to us. And we must come together, my people, or we will never get it. Please, come together behind me. Hear what I have to say. I'm talking facts. I did the research. We can file a class action lawsuit like they did in Chicago. I wanted us to get it started here first in New York, but they did it first in Chicago. Go, Chicago, we right behind you. Now it's our turn, so we can get this going in states everywhere. Class action lawsuits, and we're going to bring together. If we must come together under a new political action group. Huh? Yeah, the realistic coalition, the honest coalition, we must come together. I'm telling you. We have our leaders there telling us we don't need reparations because they got theirs at the top. The black leaders, the black churches, they get fed and taken care of very well by the system. Just like the house niggas, and treat us like the field slaves while they get treated like the house slaves, huh? By the establishment that they're a part of and don't try to, they all stand against it till they get to the top. Do you notice? Snoop, all of them. Dr. Dre, Oprah, and all of them. Michael Jordan, all of them until they get, well, no, Michael Jordan never did. He was always about basketball. I gotta admit that. He's never been controversial. He was always about basketball. But, we need a leader who's gonna stand up for black issues. I don't mind being the tip of the spear. I'll take all the heat. I don't mind. I've been taking heat. Because what's right is right and what's fair is fair. And if we are welcome here and they want to bring us here by the millions to work for free, but all of a sudden we have no value when we want full and fair and equal rights and equal pay and equal representation and equal ability to be in neighborhoods where we are told we're not welcome, sundown towns, all kind of shit done to hold us back after slavery was over, then yes, my people who never had slaves, then yes, there's an obligation to us because we built this country, our people. The backbone and the blood of our people is what built this country with them hundreds of years of free labor and all that practices, the banking practices and let me see what else, the sundown towns and sharecropping and indentured servitude, on and on and on to hold us back. The unfair representation in terms of running, whenever we did have land or anything of intergenerational wealth to pass on, they would do anything they could to steal it by hook or by crook or terrorize our people away. Terrorize them away. Talking about we're plotting against them when in fact they were plotting against our people to take what we had built out of jealousy and that they wanted us to just work for free or for less for them forever. The white folks. And if not, then take what we have, whitewash history, and pretend it never happened. And that the very same folks who generation after generation found ways to have held us back. And now just come out right and say, oh, no, we don't have no obligation to y'all or no reparations. We didn't own slaves. While they've done all kinds of practices to hold us back and didn't stand against them or change them. We don't even have a hate crime bill when black people are killed and murdered everywhere. In fact, we're vilified. Our children are called, remember, super predators. Well, now, the young folks coming across the border by themselves from drug gang, and drug cartel run countries are called unaccompanied minors. Do you see the bullshit? The manipulation? I do. So, they're unaccompanied minors. Our children are super predators. That's right. Is that right? But our children were welcome here, and we were welcome here forever as long as we work for free. And now, not now we're super predators, and they're unaccompanied minors that you're welcoming in from countries where far worse goes on, and none of that's acknowledged. And we are vilified here in our own country that we helped build for free, where we would drag our people, drag here in chains, forced here, forced to work for free, raped, murdered, all kinds of things, hunted down, denied education, and then told when you're free, well, just work hard, and when you work hard, then you'll get ahead. And when they did, it was taken from them. They were burnt out, they were ran out, murdered out, threatened out, their towns brutalized, assaulted, and torn down. All of this whitewashed and said there's no reparations obligation. My black people, come behind me. Come behind me for the reparations rallies. And anybody who sees and believes that this is unfair and knows that black people have helped build this country for free, or we were the backbone of this country. Without all that free labor, you think this country would be what it is today? Huh? You're lying if you say, yeah, you think so. Because your people weren't the ones here, slaves, for hundreds of years. Ours was. And that includes the Africans. Shut up. Because y'all peoples are the ones who sold our people over here, hunted your own people down and sold them over here. The minute they left Africa in chains, they were no longer African. We just possess African DNA. I would never want to identify myself as African. You mean the people who sold their own people to the white man? And then whitewashed history and said the white man came, and when they were doing it already before the white man got there and ramped it up and were happy to welcome him in. Come inside, come inside. That's what the Africans said when the white man came to Africa to buy their people. Huh? Y'all shut up too. So, my black people, come behind me for the reparations rally. It's time. You understand? Yeah. You know why? Because we've been used and abused generation after generation. That's why now is the time for reparations. They said we got an obligation to foreigners who come here in fear. We've been living here in fear for hundreds of years. It's time for the reparations. Huh? Because we coming together for what we owed. And we don't want to hear nothing about no white Karen tears. They didn't have tears when they were busy enslaving us, saying we were less than human. What, 2/3, 3/4?